I did want to kind of ask you, just the games this week. What was kind of like your overall thoughts? They go 3-1, only lost one game to the Milwaukee Bucks, and they get their win back against the Bucks tonight. But like, what did you think of the games this week so far?
Yeah, I think a couple things that just stood out is I think you saw the impact of a Duncan Robinson on this team the second he's on the floor versus when he's not. Just the level of shooting that he's brought, but just on top of that, like just the stable veteran presence that he's been. Like I tweeted like a couple weeks ago, but it's like Duncan Robinson's like genuinely been like a phenomenal signing for this
Yeah.
team. And he's like, I think he's like, I'd put this season up against like any of his career thus far, as far as like his quality of basketball. And if anything, I'd say this would be the best basketball of his career because this is probably the most he's been relied on as a veteran throughout his
Mhm.
career. Definitely, definitely really solid there. I brought it up in the press conference yesterday, and the way I said it to JB, like he had a little bit of a chuckle, but like legitimately, like the only way I could think of saying it is the constants for this team are death, taxes, and Ron Holland makes winning plays. Like come hell or high water, he comes into a game and turns the tide in the Pistons' fortune just about every single time. Like if you look at if you look at whether in against Portland, like when he was like making plays on the offensive end and hitting multiple shots, or you look at some of the different games where like he has all these different steals and blocks, like he's just such a disruptive presence on the defensive end. And then the other piece, JB Bickerstaff said it himself the other night of Isaiah Stewart's the best defensive center in the world. And I think we're there. Like it's like that conversation, it's time for that to be had. So like I think like I don't think based off of how things have gone over the last like week or so, I think this team like is I think we can officially like kind of like put any like reservations of like, okay, but like, is this really who the Pistons are? Like, this is who they are. We're 24, 25 games into the season. They're going to be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. The question is, with some of the flaws that they have and with some of the, things that we're seeing now that guys are coming back into the rotation, what, if anything, changes come deadline time? And what, if anything, holds them back from playing into June?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people, and I don't know if you experienced this, but just on my timeline, during the winning streak, I think Pistons fans were really excited that they had a team that they could, go out and support. I think the vibes in the city were really high. Like, could they break that all-time franchise winning streak? Obviously, they came a little bit short, but they were able to, tie with some previous championship teams. I
Yep.
think the expectations went a little bit out of control because when they did lose a game against the Celtics, you started seeing the negative comments. And I don't know if it's just, Pistons fans that started tuning in during the winning streak, or maybe it was just like maybe a fan that hasn't watched the Pistons, since the last time they were pretty good during the going to work era. But I felt like the expectations from a fan perspective have gone like really, really high. Like I
Yeah.
remember me and you having conversations. Like I asked you, I was like, "Is this a 50-win basketball club?" And you're like, "Yeah." I said, "I think so too. I think this they could easily win 50 games." But just from my point of view, I think expectations is from the fans. Is like I haven't seen expectations like this probably since the last time they had a championship squad.
Like based off of what I'm seeing, based off of the way fans are talking about this team, it feels like fans at the minimum are expecting a conference finals appearance. Like it feels like
Yeah.
people are expecting this to be one of, if not the last team standing in the East, which like the fact that we're saying that with a straight face is just like that's just again, it's just a reality that we have to adjust to. I mean, for me and for you, like I don't think it's like entirely new territory. If anything, it just feels like what the Pistons should be or what the Pistons have been in the 2000s and in years past. But for a lot of Pistons fans, it's almost like they're it's very similar. Like a lot of them are Lions fans too, where it's like they have never tasted this level of success before. And I think especially just with where the East is, with the injuries, with how open things truly are, it almost feels like there's an urgency to get it done now because of the opportunity at hand. But what I would tell people who are having those types of concerns is I think the openness in this Eastern Conference like allows this team to not have to go out and spend any major assets and see what they can really do now before, guys do start coming back. Because I think once you do have a Tatum and a Tyrese Halliburton back, like I don't think the Pistons are going anywhere. I think those guys are going to have to contend with the Pistons the same way the Pistons are going to have to contend with them.
I know. I was just kind of like reflecting on my like kind of goals for this team this year, and I was like, make the playoffs one, but win a playoff series. Like if
Yep.
you win a playoff series, to me, like you're competitive. You win, let's just say, 52 games this year, whatever it is, or 48, whatever, and you win a playoff series, like that's a whole nother monkey off your back. Like you haven't won a playoff series since 2008 against the Boston Celtics when Ray Allen and Rajon Rondo and Kevin Garnett were on that squad. So I
Yeah.
mean, like I think where they're trending is they're gonna have home court in the playoffs. They have a chance to win a playoff series. Like I'm never gonna tell a fan how to fan, but
Right.
it's really interesting to see how their perspective switches up with expectations. And I
Yeah.
love it, man. Like I've been loving doing these post game podcasts at night. I've been loving interacting with Pistons fans that hey, like we had someone in the chat today talking about how they're from Albania. They've been a fan since
Wow.
2001 and it's 4:30 in the morning and they stayed up to watch the Detroit Pistons.
Wow.
Like it's really cool to see just like how many fans that the Detroit Pistons have worldwide.
Yeah. And again, like you said, it's like it's awesome to see that people have these hopes and these expectations now, and it's like it's one of those things where it's like I haven't been here before. I don't really know. I don't really know how to carry myself. It's like how do you act? What do you say? What do you do? But like what got you here was the patience and the things that the Pistons have been doing up to this point, right? As far as like the last couple of years specifically. So I think what I would urge like to those people is if it ain't broke, like we don't need to fix it right away. Like so I think especially with the Boston loss, like with like for one, it was breaking the losing streak, but also I think it was really easy for a lot of like the casual observers because there was one major change that week, and it was Jaden Ivey returning to the lineup.
Yeah.
You know? So for people, it's like, oh, he returns to the lineup and we lose that week.
Ugh.
He's instantly the problem. It's like, well, nope, this is not a 2+2 situation here.